Righto. First of all, thank you all very much for making the effort to come out to what is, I hope, the first of many Lateral PLAINS events. We haven't done this before, so we're doing some research on how to do these things. So there will be some QR codes at the end of the presentation, so if you can give me some feedback, that'd be awesome. Just wanted to do a quick intro. I would like to acknowledge the traditional custodians of the land, the Witherden people. I would like to pay my respects to all elders, past, present and emerging. Well, why are we here? Again, thank you all for coming. Why are we here and what's happening tonight? Tonight we are going to learn about all things cybersecurity with the godfather of the regional internet, with Dr. George Fong. Yeah. Yes, George, we were going to embarrass you tonight. I told you this. We are going to tell you what's new at Lateral PLAINS and what the path is of what we're doing for our managed services, and all of you guys in the room may or may not be customers of ours at the moment, so you get to learn a little bit about what we do, how we're doing it, and we've got some of our guys here too, so you can sit around and talk to them as well. We're going to do a solution spotlight on our BCDR product, which is one of my favourite products. If you don't know what that is, you'll soon find out. We're going to have a bit of a panel chat too with Shaun, that really lanky guy down the back there. Yeah, myself, Damien from dobcel, who's here, and Jay, just to talk about the BCDR product, what we're doing in the cybersecurity space, that kind of stuff. And we're going to give away some prizes. So now I'd like to get George up to start talking about cybersecurity. Give him a round of applause. Just going to close that one back. No, you'll be wrong. Right. There you go. Yeah, very technical, George.
Ladies and gentlemen, thank you. It's an interesting experience to be a guest of your son at, and I think that is a generational thing that concerns me greatly sometimes, but on the other times it doesn't. Welcome all. Thank you all for being here. You are clients, valued clients, our partners in terms of the work that we do, and that's not just servicing clients, that's helping the community push forward in regional internet access and accessing processes. It's in our work in making sure the community gets what it needs and keeps going ahead. We've been really fortunate with regard to the NBN, and if anybody has ever noticed recently, the bits that didn't have fibre are slowly getting it. Just have a look around the town and see the big reels on the backs of trucks. Well, that's them quietly upgrading all the copper, and that will continue for a significant amount of time. To our collaborators and to our amazing team here, many of whom I hope you will get to talk to on an informal basis and learn and understand some of the nerf culture that we bring to what we do. I'd just like to make a special mention to Prue Bentley, the reason for which is that part of my presentation she has already seen. Prue is the person that manages the ABC in Ballarat, although she's not able to work in that place at the moment because they've demolished it and they're rebuilding the inside. So, ladies and gentlemen, thank you. And Prue, if you'll forgive me, there is a little bit of repetition in this. The most important thing that we'd like you to understand today is that this is not about talking to technical people. The most important thing that we see in these days, especially in trying to assist clients in navigating their requirements in terms of technology as a part of what they do in their business, is very non-technical. What we are concerned about is the fact that we all need to raise our game, and that can be challenging. The processes of cybersecurity are very human. A lot of people will say, oh, well, it's up to the computer department to deal with it. All that scary stuff they can deal with, all I do is sit at the end of my computer. Well, that's the bit that is causing technical people the most trouble at this point in time. Is that an insult on you? No, it's not. I mean, how are you supposed to know about all of these things unless people like us sit down with you and talk in plain English about what it is that we're trying to achieve? So this is not a technical lecture. It's not even a lecture. I've got 15 minutes before Luke throws me off. Having said that, there is a PowerPoint presentation that will run in the background, a much extended one, which I would ask you while you are networking with your fellow members of the community and business to look at. And there are a series of questions at the end. You are not required to fill out a questionnaire or anything like that. Just read through them and plant in your mind exactly how many things have I done and have I not done. And then maybe discuss it with people that you trust. You'll be surprised at how much you haven't done and how many things that even some of our team don't do, although we do have the advantage of knowing who and when. If we want to get technical, there is a definition of cybersecurity, but I think the most important thing I'd like to point out in this slide is the bit at the top. Cybersecurity is the combination of people, policy, processes, and technologies employed by an enterprise to protect its cyber assets. The technologies come last, and the whole idea is that we deal with people first, because at the end of the day, cybersecurity is about an attack by people, not necessarily by technology, although the technology is the tool to do that. And we very often talk about the human factor in terms of trying to work out how cybersecurity works. If you have a look at any of the documentations from the Australian Signals Directorate or the ACSC in Canberra, you will always find that the most difficult part of defending the country is making sure that we have secure operatives and we have trusted people at the ends of the technical networks. Why has cybersecurity suddenly become a thing? Well, if the media is to be believed, it's Optus, it's Medibank, and all those high-profile cases that we've seen recently that said, oh, the boogeyman's out there, and they're about to take all our information and make and create identity thefts all over the place. Well, that's partly true, but it's not new. What's happened is that the media has decided this is a high-profile thing, and they've taken a hold of it and said, we're scared, and you should be scared, and it'll make great news, so let's put it out there. What you really need to know is that it always was a thing. And here are some of many, many examples that have happened since before 1999, but let's start at 1999 when the millennium started to arrive. The Melissa virus, $80 million in damages in 1999. There was a thing called Mafia Boy in 2000, and this caused an estimated 1 billion US of damages to Amazon and CNN. And in 2007, an entire country was attacked, Estonia, suspected Russian targeting government services, financial institutions and media outlets. And the list goes on. More recently in Australia, ANU data going back 19 years affecting 200,000 students. And they don't know how long the attack could have lasted. In 2020, New South Wales, 47 staff email accounts were hacked, 104,000 people affected. And in 2021, Eastern Health Melbourne. And in 2022, a vulnerable data collection API was compromised with 200 million Twitter profiles exposed. So it's not new. It's been around for a long time. We now have a profile of what's happening, and the general public have, thankfully, taken arms up against this and are starting to be very, very concerned. For us as technologies, that means that we are able to speak to you with an open mind and say, look, these things are dangerous, but let's take it pace by pace. Random facts and figures. In the annual cyber threat report in 2022 by the government, the Canberra-based Australian Cyber Security Centre, they reckon 76,000 cyber crimes took place. We reckon that it's probably about 4 times that. The COVID-19 pandemic made this a problem as well, and we saw cybercrime rates increase by 600%. Why? Because a lot of people were working at home. And more than a third of companies in America apparently have had their intellectual property pilfered by Chinese competitors within the past decade. That doesn't really surprise us, but it does sound like a big figure. Business email compromise statistics, self-reported losses, and those are the only ones that are self-reported and are unknown about, increased significantly, conservatively about 98 million. And the roll goes on. These slides are all available for you to digest while you're having a drink later. But it's not all doom and gloom. I'm going to give you the doom and gloom right now, but I will talk about the solutions afterwards. You know, what we hear, I love this. When we sit around, everybody says, well, that's not me, is it? You know, I've got nothing to hide. No, I never said that. All I do is a bit of browsing and some email. Oh, yeah, really? I don't know what my kids think, but I think they just play games, you know. I only use the internet at work. The government isn't doing enough to protect our privacy and information. My kids are not getting taught enough about e-safety at school, etc., etc. We hear all of that. And the number of computers that come into our organisation for clean-up, cyber security breaches, cyber encryption scams, etc., etc., and the guilt that you all face when you front us and say, well, I didn't know. You shouldn't feel that guilty about it. These sorts of things are happening all the time. What's more important to us is that you actually tell us. And you say, look, we have a problem. You know, this has happened. I don't know how. And the answer is, well, if you don't know how, after we finish, hopefully we will know how, and hopefully we will have managed to have resurrected what you have lost. These things have happened time and time again, and the issue is cyclic processes of putting it up into a better position. We're very fond of saying this sort of thing. The weakest part of technology is not the internet or the hardware, but it's the squishy bits at the end of the internet. We can build resilient systems, but human nature is such that if you have a scam email that comes through, and it looks legit, and you haven't checked it, and sometimes you do need to be an expert to check. If you do click on that link, all sorts of harm can come. And you'll be surprised at how much email causes as a problem. I predicted about 6 or 7 years ago that corporations would move away from email because, firstly, it's unreliable, secondly, it's insecure, and thirdly, it's not very confidential. Sending an email, as I've pointed out to many people before, is a bit like writing a letter, paper clipping it on the outside of an envelope and then dropping it into the postbox. How do you expect that to be kept confidential? And if you are sending emails to various nefarious addresses that you don't know about, that makes the problem even worse. So the human factor is very often the problem of these scams. Scam statistics, unexpected money, $7 million or nearly $8 million, very underestimated by ScamWatch. And very often, you will find numbers like this. Okay, all scam types, according to the ACCC, around $500 million. And again, that can be a significantly underestimated amount. Just to go back one, do you remember this? The Nigerian email scam thing? 2 to 3 people a year still get caught out by it in Australia. You know, it's quite an amazing figure, really, when you think about it. You've heard the expression phishing. You may be both the bait and the catch. In monetary terms, Australians apparently have lost 24 million in 2022, and there have been a number of different reports. What is a phishing attack? And how does that happen? Well, over the night you'll hear from some people about, you know, what sort of things happen and how we protect you from those and how you can protect yourselves from those. But phishing systems can trigger what we consider to be very widespread network type things. We often watch email servers where strange accounts try to log in. They log in from Nigeria, then the same account tries to log in from Scandinavia, then the same account tries to log in from Macedonia within 2 to 3 minutes. Well, that person hasn't been in all 3 countries. What's happened is somebody's PC's been infected with a little automated script that sends these things out in various times. Some of those botnets can be buried in consumer PCs for months, and then somebody triggers a response to those botnets and gets them activated. And they are not about hundreds of machines, they're not about thousands of machines, but they're hundreds of thousands. And we've seen botnet attacks on the servers in Australia on a regular basis, to the point where some systems have had to close down because of the massive information that's been sent to them. Can that sort of thing be stopped? Oh yes, the majority of them are. Believe it or not, in many, many cases, the botnet attacks are actually intervened before they are actually made, or they actually make any damage. And the reason for that is that we've got good security measures in place. Security measures at a national level, security measures at the corporate level, and security measures at local levels as well. We all work with security organisations across the globe to make sure that these sort of things, when they show their faces, are communicated to the community as quickly as possible and shut off as quickly as possible. That's the sort of thing that you don't hear about. You really don't have to. I think my 50 minutes is nearly up, so I better get on with it. Before I do that, I'd like you to read this, this slide when you've got time to walk around and see if anything hits you. How much has email affected us, and what sort of responses do we have to email? A lot of those responses are not technical. They're emails that say to you, you really do need to do something about this, and in your busy lives you go, oh shit, I better do that. And when you do, that triggers a whole bunch of responses that cause some significant problems if they are not caught properly. Some people say, why can't you catch them at your end? Well, we can if they are, if they exhibit patterns where we can catch them. But if they are legitimate emails, misused, then very often they are passed through systems on a legitimate basis, and that's very difficult to catch. So we'll talk a bit more about those later on, and on an informal basis. If you see any of us and are curious about some of these questions, please ask. Also, our footprints. One of the things that we will talk about to you is how much of a footprint you leave on the internet. This guy runs a site called iknowwhereyourcatlives.com, and what he does is he trawls the internet, social media, finds pictures of cats on social media, and then checks their geolocation against the photos, and then maps those photos against Google Maps so you can see where all these cats live. Now, they're only cats. How many photos do you post of your family and friends on social media? And do you know whether or not you have posted a piece or an image that has geolocation information in it? It's okay if it's your cat, but if it's not, then there are other issues that attach to that. On a consumer basis, that's a real concern for the average user, but on a corporate basis, especially if you're posting information, and especially confidential information about work that you're doing on sites or work you're doing with clients, that can pose some threats if you're not thinking about how you are doing it. Corporate responsibility is not going away either. The issue about corporate responsibility has always been, oh well, it's the technical stuff, so let's send it to the technical department, it's not anything to do with us. Well no, sorry, not anymore. You now have nowhere to hide, especially as a director. AICD and others run governance courses, but as a matter of corporate governance, the authorities that be are now saying you need to take responsibility for cyber breaches, and especially breaches of personal data. That runs across a whole gamut of industries, not necessarily always small businesses, but small businesses are increasingly needing to take those responsibilities and look at how you protect company data and how you protect client data. So as a response to that, the responsibility has now risen up to board responsibility. You have a fiduciary responsibility to ensure that both your staff and your clients are protected in terms of the technologies that you run and how you run them. Now, the good news is that you don't have to be world's leading expert to do it. You have a whole room of professionals in here, and our partners, Datto, are obviously long-time experts in these areas. They will be available to talk about what sort of solutions there are. We're not necessarily trying to sell you everything that we've got. What we'd like you to do is make sure that you understand what the risks are. All right, I'm going. And as you'll see from the slides, it's not just evil people either. Even when it's legit, I'm from the government, I'm here to help. How much data does government carry? I have spent more days than I would like to think in front of Senate estimates and other inquiries in Canberra saying, please don't do this, or if you are going to do it, please do it properly, and that has fallen on deaf ears. It is your entitlement to question how that data is collected by government and how that is stored. Be unafraid of asking, because just because it's the government doesn't mean they've got it right. More to come. Tonight, this is about how you do cybersecurity and how we can help. I haven't mentioned any of the solutions, but over the night, what I hope this will be is a very educational process for you. The most important part of things after our presentations is the discussion that you have with us over a drink. And we're more than happy to help and extend that conversation to outside of this particular event. And on that note, I am being summoned away from the rostrum by my son. So I will say thank you very much.
Cool. So what's new and exciting at Lateral PLAINS? So probably towards the end of last year, a lot of you may or may not have realised we had a bit of a staff movement around the place. We've actually got some former and current staff members here today. So if you go, oh, who's that new guy? The new guy, Shaun, he's here. If you say hello to him. I've got Jared down the back, I've got Leo, and I've got Ray. Any questions, come and talk to us later on. It'd be awesome. One of my favourite things that I want to talk about now actually is our new Walmart Wall E, which we're putting into our service desk to improve some efficiencies for you guys. So hands up if you're an actual customer of ours right now that's actually been waiting a week on week for service requests. You don't, because we're pretty good, eh? So we've invested with a team called Pia.ai, basically to automate a lot of those requests to help you guys out. So you guys get a better experience, our techs get a better experience, and your requests get resolved faster. So you'll see that coming towards the end of June. Your password resets will go from 25 minutes to 5. And there is going to be a chatbot enabled at some point for you guys to be able to talk to the chatbot and say, hey, we want to reset our password. We can do that, and we can text off the password, say to your manager or whatever it may be. The one thing that's actually really new and exciting, and thanks to the guys at Datto and Kaseya, our security posture for all of our customers now is starting to become the best in class. We've invested a lot of time and effort in our tooling to help you guys to make sure that you guys can sleep at night knowing that your environments are safe. There's a few of you here that have had that panic phone call from me saying, hey, we need to do something about this. We're doing it regardless of what's happening in the room. We are 100% invested in the safety of your environments. Our team is invested, and Shaun can attest to that. We've been working very, very hard with all your Azure environments, all your 365 environments, all your local on-prem environments as well. The reason why we want to do that is because I can't sleep at night knowing that your backups aren't working. I can't sleep at night knowing that there's some random out there trying to get to your stuff. So that's why we're investing so hard in the tooling. I might get Jay to come up and have a chat about this in a moment. Who knows what a SOC is, or a SOC? Put your hand up if you do. Yeah, some of you do? Cool. No? Two on? Okay. No, they're not the things that you put in your feet. It is our Security Operations Centre. So we have invested with Kaseya, our team in the States. We've got a team that basically monitors all of your environments 24/7. We feed in, I think, how many thousands of data points a minute, Jay? Like tens of thousands a minute from every single device that's on your network. If they see something even remotely out of the ordinary, my phone rings. Now, I'm going to embarrass someone here. So, unfortunately, this customer's not in the room, but I was at a Christmas party last year, and we were sitting there having a beer, as you do, and my phone rings, and I'm like, oh, this is weird. We had only just enabled this for our own internal company, mind you, and I hadn't finished setting it up, no alerting rules or anything like that. I get a phone call. They go, oh, we've had some suspicious logins from Germany. And I'm like, oh, okay, cool. Can you elaborate a bit more? It makes no sense. Oh, it's for your tenancy. Oh, lateralplains.com. Yeah. I'm like, okay, here we go. Now I'm in trouble. Like my own tenancy's been breached here. And turns out it was just George being George and getting data out of Germany. So the SOC has rung me and said, oh, yeah, we detected it. But the takeaway from that is that George's VPN being turned on, my security team already know about that. And if that's not expected, then we can act on it. That was within 3 minutes of that happening, mind you. That wasn't a 5 minute, an hour later thing. That was literally instantaneous. The SOC literally rang me. So we've invested an absolute bucket load into that, and the benefit you guys are going to get, sublime. No ransomware attacks, all that kind of stuff, or we can isolate devices, all that kind of stuff. Well, reduced, yeah. It's never going to be perfect, but we're going to get there. Yeah. Damn it, George. So one thing that's actually just about to come to Lateral Plains as well, you guys have, George touched on this before about the phishing scams that are happening at the moment. We are about to implement across, I think it's 10 companies, our phishing and security awareness training. So this is based basically, you sign up for it, you've got an organisation of 50 odd people, 60 odd people. We go and bomb your emails saying, hey, we might be a scammer, we might not. And if you do click the link and it happens to be one of ours, guess what? Now your staff got to go training. So it's an educational tool that we can run campaigns for you guys. We can teach them, what they could have done differently, what links to look for, from an educational point of view, rather than smacking someone on the back of the hand saying, hey, we have been phished and we need to learn about it. It's all upfront. To be fair, I wish I'd had this with a customer not only 2 weeks ago. They got scammed out of $60,000 and all I could do was cry because I had told them that they needed to have the security posture with them. They didn't have it. So, and that was a small amount to them. It makes me scared. If you can torch 60 grand, what are you doing? And the last point I want to just touch on with our new and exciting focus is how we're delivering services to you guys. We've been working very hard in the background. We've had a big transformation of the business over the last 12 months in terms of how we deliver, where we're going, how we're doing it, infrastructure-wise, all that kind of stuff. I won't bore you on the details because I'm a nerd. I love all the nitty-gritty. But long story short is our time to deliver come July is going to be a lot faster, a lot more simpler, and the guys from Datto and Conseil are here to help me do that. Again, this partnership doesn't come without its perks, and being able to sit here and talk to you guys about that is part of it. Joe, I wanted to maybe talk about what makes an SOC. So maybe you can come up and give me a high-level overview as a layman. Can we have yeah.
Okay. So I'll keep it fairly simple, but I want you guys to understand how a SOC system works. All right. Pre-SOC technology, IT professionals and IT companies would have various other technologies and tools that would find alerts within Office 365, within your backup, within where users log in from, within how they log in, whether their kids are on the laptop and they've downloaded things that shouldn't be on there, or they've gone to those free gaming websites, or whatever it happens to be.
Candy Crush. Whoever likes Candy Crush, don't do it.
It's on my phone. Big addiction for it.
Damn it, Jack.
Quite high up on the levels. But these guys have always done a really good job in making sure that these alerts are attended to. But what does that do over a long period of time? It wears a human being out. It just generally would, because you're looking at alerts, you're acting on Jennifer's PC did that, Bob's server is doing this, and this email alert came in, I've got to do 3 things within an hour to get that sorted. So what a SOC does is it grabs those tools that you would have invested and implemented into your business, triages those alerts into a single pane. And then there's a SOC team, like an actual security specialist team, that Datto employs, Kaseya employs, Datto, Kaseya, where...
That ring me at stupid hours of the morning.
Yeah. They work 24/7. They look at all the alerts that come in from your businesses through all the various products that you guys have invested in, and they're the ones looking at the screens. And they've got special ways through APIs to say there's X amount of Microsoft 365 email alerts. There's X amount of alerts coming in from laptops and servers and antivirus and VPNs, and they triage all those alerts into a single pane. And if they feel that there is a threat or some kind of alert or something that needs to be acted on, they can proactively target that and lock that PC out of the system, or isolate that user's accounts, or run some kind of a script that might kill that virus out or that malware, or stop that person in Scandinavia connecting in through VPN. And then, at the same time, call this guy at 2 a.m. and say, hey, we've done this, this and this. Would you like us to finish the step by, unisolating Jenny's PC because we've fixed the problem, right? So it's allowing these guys to have an extended arm into the security space, but it's helping automate a lot of the stuff they would typically do manually. Now, the best part about that is they can then do project work for you guys, upgrade that server infrastructure, move you guys to the cloud, secure your business, whatever it happens to be. So a SOC will take all those critical alerts that would require his tech, basically Luke's tech team, to manually look at, and it triages everything into a single automated pane. And then that security team works with these guys to basically fix the problem quicker and, I guess, with minimal damage.
Absolutely.
That's what a SOC does. It triages a whole bunch of alerts in simple. Cool.
Cool. Thanks, Joe. The one thing that I did want to add to that too is on top of that, the automated reporting that we're about to get. I think reporting's coming, Joe. Not far away. Melissa probably is going to ask that question at some point when she signed up for that. But we will get a monthly or weekly report saying, hey, we've stopped XYZ attacks. And it's actually mind-blowing. I have probably 20 customers hooked up with their firewalls, and even just the stuff hitting the front door is absolutely scary as. So that's cool. Ray, you might be up for this one, I reckon, because we need to do a thing. Yeah. So maybe we'll just take 3 minutes just to grab a beer, and we'll come back and we'll talk about one of my favourite subjects, which is BCDR. So grab a beer and come back and we'll just while people are grabbing a beer, I know you're all out the back there, but hands up, who's had a really bad day? Has anyone had a really bad day? All right. So who's the bloke down in the back there? Come on, Greg. Yeah, found him. He actually turned up. How bad was it? Did all of your WAN links die? Or how bad was it? Well, come and dress up. I know. We've had a ransomware attack. Greg.
Oh no.
Finish it.
Is that a ransomware on there?
Finish it. Hurry up. Oh, all of it.
Hang on.
Get to it. Yeah, it's a ransomware attack, man. Go on. Hey! Go on, keep going. Gotta do it. Wait. Oh, no. That's got the magic smoke coming out of it. Awesome. Give him a round of applause, people. It's awesome. Right.
I don't think it's got ransomware.
No, I don't think it does. And if it does, well, bad luck. Yeah. Did that make your day better, Greg? Good. Yeah. So just to give you guys some background, we used to go to the the Datto Connect demos, and this was one of Shaun's favourites to introduce BCDR. So who in the room actually knows what BCDR is? And hands up if you've got it implemented in your business via Lateral PLAINS. There is about 20 hands that should be up. And if you don't, that's bad. Good. I was going to throw a ball at all of you, but you know, bad luck. So yeah, we just had a ransomware attack. What happens? And obviously, where's the Turkish bloke? There he is. I found him. It's the best Turkish bloke. So what happens once we've had a ransomware attack and you've got one of our appliances sitting in there? The reason it's called business continuity and disaster recovery is because we can continue with the business and recover from the disaster quicker than anyone. Just before I give it over to Jay, we started selling this product, I think, back in 2016, and we had a customer in the room. I won't make them put their hand up, but they suffered a ransomware attack within 4 weeks of us deploying this device. We had them, the server died so hard it broke all the disks in it, and we had them back up and running within 2 hours. So from a ransomware attack to fully operational within 2 hours with some borrowed hardware. If that's not cool, I don't know what is, but you know, I'm a nerd. So I'm going to get Jay to show us just a basic recovery process, just so you guys understand what us as techs go through and what we're doing for your business. So, Jay.
Can we get the browser up?
Throw some balls out, Lukey.
All right. Hey. Oh no. Go on, throw them in there. I'll get these.
One more. I'll bounce it over.
That's all right. That's fine.
Okay. Let's see if we can make this work. So, what I'm going to do from here, pull it up. Is that better? There we go. So if I was an IT professional or an engineer or a technician working on Luke's team, and I got a call that there was some kind of ransomware attack, or I checked from my system that one of the servers has gone down within your environment, the first thing that I'm going to do is probably log into this particular portal. So this portal is where Lateral PLAINS can see all the Datto BCDR devices that they've got deployed out into your environments. Now the cool part is we triage all of the backup alerts and backup successes and backup failures all into a single portal. Of course, it gets shared among many other portals that these guys use. So within a single pane from their desk, they can see all the alerts. So if a server goes down or they need to do a recovery, or emails missing from this domain, or SharePoint data needs to be recovered, they can pull it all down from the cloud. Now, it's probably a little hard to see from the projector, but as an engineer, I can pull up my list of BCDR devices. I can find the network that the backup device belongs to and where that server used to belong. So I'll pause there for a sec. So no hacker is going to walk into your network with a sledgehammer. You'd probably kick him out by the time they got to the server room, all right? But that was just for a bit of theatre. Typically nowadays what we're seeing is these hackers will fish through. They'll say, hey, Jenny, here's your AGL bill or your AusPost, your delivery's on the way, or have you done your tax for this year or whatever it is, and people click on links. Hackers get into the network, whether it's through the front door, it's through a clicked on link, a file that somebody's downloaded, a Word document that was shared to one of your staff members, and they've gone, oh, what's in this Word document? It says pay slips. I'll have a quick skis as to what everyone's getting paid, and lo and behold, that Word doc lets a hacker in, right? When that hacker's on the network, they're going to encrypt a lot of your data, basically break that server down to a point where they say, hey, we want a bit of money, or else we're not going to give you data back. That's in terms of today, that's typically what we're seeing in terms of a ransomware attack, right? Kind of gone are the days where someone's filling up some coffee or making a hot tea in the morning and they've tipped water over the server in the kitchen. It's out the door now. It's mostly external people trying to get into your business to hold you for ransom. But at times like that, that's where the Datto BCDR, so business continuity, it's like the analogy of a run flat tire, which I'll go into a bit more on the panel, but the idea is to get the business up and running as quick as possible, because we want to mitigate how much downtime that you guys actually go through, rather than have your staff go home early at 1:30 and you guys lose, I guess, profit and money coming in the door. Staff can continue to work away within 10 minutes, 5 minutes, 15 minutes potentially, after a quick little tea break, but the servers are back online, right? So from this portal, I guess as one of the engineers, I could log in with the team, and I can say, yep, here's the Datto device for that particular customer that's just had a ransomware attack. One click, and it will actually redirect me from my desk or wherever I am in the world, right, directly into your Datto device that's in your environment, okay? Inside this interface, I can then find that server that's had an attack, and I'll show you in a few seconds. I can assign some CPU and memory power to it and basically boot it up. So there's a little restore button up the top, which you kind of can't see from the projector. When I click on that, I would have your potentially, file server that I'm about to click on. there's a button here called local virtualization. That's what's going to take your backup from half an hour ago, or 1 hour ago, or 5 minutes ago, take an exact replica and turn that on, basically boot it up on the Datto backup box that we've got within your server room, okay? Now, with the shift to cloud, some of your infrastructure might live in the cloud, right? It might be SaaS-based. Irrespective of where your data lives, we're going to be able to protect it and then bring it back online in the case of a disaster just like this. So I would assign some CPU, some memory, basically some power to get it going. Once I've done all that, I can then start that virtual machine to bring that server back online. So what's happening here is there'll be a Datto backup server in your server room. This is the interface of it. And then what I'm doing basically with Luke and the team is we're grabbing your file server or your database server or your payroll server, half an hour goes backup, and then mounting it and booting it just like that. And then when we click on that link, it's going to give you an example of that system or that server booting. Okay? So that's the power of the business continuity. All right, it's when the business is hit with ransomware or some kind of cyber attack, we can get you guys going as quick as possible so that A, we're not sending staff home to have a free day or losing continuity within the business for a couple of days, and B, we're not losing any money. Right? All good? Make sense? Beautiful. We're done. Okay, you can have your laptop back.
Yeah, that's all right.
I need to log out in case you do some funny things in my portal.
I would never. Never. Again, the short bloke. Now I reckon it's time to bring the panel out. I'm going to not even bring the rest of the PowerPoint up because there's not much to put there. But Shaunie's going to run the panel. Damo, if you want to come up and we can have a bit of a chat about BCDR and how good it is. And maybe Ray can assist down here. No? These boys are good? Cool.
While the panel... Oh, Luke. There's a problem. While the panel does come up, a little bit of background on we've done disaster recoveries for, Jay, about 5 years now. And one of the ones we did in Brisbane was quite entertaining. We thought, you know what, we've got to change this up a little bit. We're going to make, forget about the sledgehammer, forget about that sort of stuff. Why don't we put some of that magic paper in it? You know what the magicians have?
Yeah,
you know
the
that
magician's paper.
We can light it up. It'll look like it really blows up. We'll make this really work. So we're at this hotel room, or big hotel space, and we thought this is going to be the best thing ever. So we're on stage, and we're like, Jay, what happens if it blows up? What do we do here? What happens? And he goes, nothing will happen. We'll just see if this gets cryptoed. So then someone came up on stage, lit it up, but what we didn't know is that they let off a lot of smoke. Alarms upstairs, right?
I may or may not have been there for that one.
This is in Brisbane. So we've got about, I think we've got 65 partners in the room, and these are all Datto partners. So they're like, yeah, this is fantastic, rah, rah, rah. We then get the fire trucks rock up to this place.
Oh, no.
They kick us out, and they've literally banned us to this day. We're not allowed back in our hotel room. So that's a true story, what has actually happened. We've done it with baseball bats where people have hit it across the crowd, and we're not allowed to do that again either. So this is literally our safest option now. That's why we had to put that stuff down. That's why you've got to wear the high vis, because that is an OH&S thing that we have to do. So now, and then the goggles as well. So anyway, I digress. Let me get my nuts. Damo.
Okay, mate.
Welcome. Do you want to let everyone know, we've met the two. So Damo, do you want to let the crowd know who you are, where you're from, and what are you doing on this panel?
There's a lot of faces in the room that I know, maybe I don't know. So my name's Damien Foster. A lot of you guys have probably met me through my career in IT in Ballarat. I currently work for dobcel, which is the Catholic Education Office here in Ballarat. So I look after 64 Catholic primary schools, as we say, from the Murray to the sea. So I will look after a very big geographical area. In that, and what our team is there to do is to, some of the terminology we've used here before is to be a technical fiduciary for our schools, to help assist the technical partners and IT partners working in those schools, but also to offer frontline support for those schools as well, from everything from learning technologies, learning management systems, all the way through to their infrastructure. And talking here is their security and also their business continuity.
And I guess what I want to make point there is you've got a lot of sensitive data.
Yeah, a bit. Yeah.
A lot of sensitive data. So cybersecurity for me, and we do a lot of these workshops, people say, but I've got AV, I've got a firewall. Everyone we talk to is on the network. So why is that still important, but why is it important still to have a BCDR device? Why doesn't that stop all the stuff coming through?
Well, look, from a school's perspective, a school's not a dealing room. Like they do have a lot of elasticity in how they operate, but when it comes down to the more poignant facts of child welfare, child location, even some children that you need to know as a parent myself, that my child's in school and they're safe and they're attending class. Those simple things, and usually tracked in a learning management system or one way or another. Without that information, schools do grind to a halt very quickly going, well, where's little Johnny? He's not here for period 2 and we need to know where he is. It comes down to, hey, there is a medical emergency and we need to understand exactly what Steve is allergic to and we need to know right now. And that security, or that data and that continuity of that data is very, very important to schools, especially when they have an incident with a child or people coming into schools as well, making sure that we understand and have vetted the folk that are coming into the schools. So when it comes down to it, and I'll speak very, very plainly, backup and security was always just a nice to have option. It was always just a nice to have thing. Now, in the 21st century, schools are beginning to realise this is a need to have. This goes before all the nice bells and whistles. And having the ability to bring up a school very quickly and efficiently when it counts during a school day is very, very crucial. And you as whether you're a business owner, you're an IT guy, or somewhere in there, you are supporting an information system. And being able to bring that up quickly and without fuss is absolutely crucial, no matter what vertical you're working in. And for me and for my team that have to work in this space, being able to provide a real steadfast backstop to principals to say, yes, if there is a problem, we will be able to stand your stuff up quickly and efficiently when it counts. And being able to say that hand on heart to principals is, from everything from the USB backup that goes home in the receptionist's handbag to a Datto appliance on site that I can spin up an entire infrastructure on, no sweat, from a web console in Ballarat for a school in Mildura down to Warrnambool, makes it a very fast and efficient system. Because business continuity, as much as we go, oh, well, it makes sense that I can continue business, but how quickly can you continue business? A lot of people are tolerant to a point. It really takes a lot, or really takes an event for people to understand, actually, a business day is a really long time watching 27 employees twiddling their thumbs, or making sure that we're doing paper-based roles. Something to think about.
You should come on with us all the time, though, mate. This is good. Hands up. Who knows what BCDR solution they've got right now in their office? 2, 3. Everyone's a bit nervous still. A few not enough drinks. Like, who does USB to hard drive still? None?
None, that's a good start.
Good. What about tape?
If you've got tape, then we need to have a talk.
Yeah.
We need to have a serious talk.
So there's still a few
Jesus
there, and
Christ.
a couple that don't know.
You guys need Jesus.
No, he's not going to help you yet. Right. Jay.
Yes, that's me.
We've spoken about BC, we've spoken about DR, we've spoken about that side of the world, but we haven't really touched on what the two things are.
Okay.
So what's BC and what's DR?
BC's, so before Christ. That's not where I was going with that.
Bad joke.
We tested that one a little bit
Yeah,
earlier
we
while
did.
you guys
We
were in the
did
room.
test that one, yeah.
It was pretty funny to Luke, so I thought I'd...
Yeah, it's pretty good.
So BC, business continuity, is the idea that you have, hypothetically, full comp car insurance. If, God forbid, you have a failure or a car accident, there's going to be magically a similar model car right next to you, ready to go with the keys in their full tank of fuel. It's the ability to continue on to your destination. And I'll give you another example. You go to get your tyres changed at the tyre shop. We've got some cheap ones at $100 each. And you go, oh yeah, that sounds good. I want to save a bit of cash this month. And the tyre guy goes, well, we've got some good ones, about $180 each, the Michelins. They come from Europe and they're good in wet weather. You've got a family, you want to protect the kids. And then for about $210, a little bit more, we've got these run flats. And you go, what the hell are they? Well, the point of the run flats is when you get a puncture, I've gotten them all the time on the Monash because Daniel Andrews has never been able to fix them on the freeway.
We're not there.
We're not there.
We're still building the Monash freeway. Still. It's been, I'm 32 now and I remember the day of my...
Move on.
We have it? Yeah, okay.
Run flats.
The run flat tyres, right? So if you get a puncture, the point is you continue on to your destination at a slower speed, but you still get there. You don't have grease under your fingernails, you haven't jacked the car up, in rainy weather. That's basically the concept of continuing on with a BCDR appliance. The DR concept comes from In the past, you guys would have had a USB, you take it home in your sort of handbag and you hope that the data is going to be good the next day, and you want to keep that data in the safe for 6 months or 12 months, and you're trusting that USB. Nowadays, when we bring BCDR together, the concept is we retain that data in a safe cloud somewhere else, and then if your site were to burn down, God forbid, or you couldn't get into the office from an electrical failure, the DR component of your solution will kick in. So we will start up your business infrastructure in the Datto cloud, if I'm to be specific, right? And then we have your staff go home, get the laptops out, and they connect into Datto's cloud, but continue working away. So they go hand in hand, but the concepts used to be sort of different in the past or not together, but now we've sort of, when you sort of collectively put BCDR together, it's the idea that we can continue on-premise. The site burns down, we can continue in the cloud and pull data back from 7 years ago if we have to.
And we've been part of, like I said, for quite a while. And one of the things that really springs to mind, a couple of years back, Queensland had those floods. Years back before that, we had those fires up in Maui and across Victoria. A lot of our clients back then were like, well, we won't need it, but we'll have it anyway. We ran 80 staff or 80 partners up in the cloud during that Queensland floods, operational. So they were literally, their sites had burnt down. Oh, sorry, were flooded. They could not get in there. But we were literally keeping them running on our cloud with their infrastructure. And as soon as their sites came up online, the floods have receded, we could bring their infrastructure in and start them exactly like they were up in the cloud within a couple of hours. So that's how it sort of works in our world. But Lukey, there are a lot of different backup and DR solutions out there, right? We know there's Veeam, there's Shadow Protect, there's hard drives, there's backup exec still, that's out there, there's tapes. Why us?
Stop it.
Yeah. Why
Stop
Datto?
it,
Why Datto? What have we got?
You've probably got best in class. Honestly, that's why I sell it. The reason why we went with Datto, and we had really, really swarmy sales guys come in, and I like shiny things, right? But when you see the value of the shiny things and Luke actually talking some shit to you once in a while, you understand what we're providing to you. One thing that Damo is one of our biggest customers with the BCDR stuff at the moment, and the value that we can verify that data from end to end with 100% confidence that I can bring all of your business data back without even looking at it. So we've ran, 4 DR tests now, Damo? 5? Yeah. 4 DR tests with verifiable databases with all the right data coming back to us to make sure that we can go, all right, cool, with confidence, tick. All the automated testing, tick. All of the ability for Damo's team, or when Damo's team isn't available, I'm available or my team's available to stand that infrastructure up for them. The ease of the product is great, but our support team and, Shaun and Jay have been phenomenal for us as well. So having a product that is also supportable, we don't have to ring at 3 a.m. in the morning to get support. We get it whenever we need it. So that's why we went with Datto.
And let's pick that apart for a second, Luke. Like when we start talking about the ease of use, and look, you guys have seen the web interface through the 1997 projector we've got up there.
Yeah, that's right. Audi projector, mate. Not 1997.
Crisp 720.
Ballarat projectors. No.
Projectors were fine. Leave the town alone.
Who invited us?
You're welcome.
Who invited this guy?
Someone give me a beer quick. We're going to be here a while.
I can see T up the back, just like we're getting the crew. It's going in. But it's the ease of use. So one of the main reasons when we were looking to refresh our not only our disaster recovery but our business continuity solutions was ease of use. It is all well and good for me to have a tertiary trained, skilled, very well worldly IT guy sitting on my team who's diligently sitting there after an excellent night's sleep, of very little problems on his plate, being acutely aware of what's going on and noticing that there's an outage very quickly. Nobody has that. I need to build my solutions to afford to the lowest common denominator. That's not speaking ill of my team, but that is the worst time in the worst situation with the worst available scenario. And being able to use something like this that is that kitty gloved that allows my level 1 guys to spin up and restore. And we've been speaking about servers a lot and your back end stuff, the stuff that sits in the server room, focusing on that business continuity for the moment. Who here has one person or a handful of people in their organisation that their operations day to day are critical to keep the place turning? If you don't put your hand up, you're absolutely lying.
One.
Yeah.
Everyone in this room, I mean, you don't work for hopes and dreams, correct? You work for payroll, all right? You like to get paid.
Correct.
Now, when payroll can't pay people, there is an extreme amount of pressure that gets put into a situation. We have a centralised payroll team, so we look after, I think at the moment, about 24 schools, maybe 30 schools that we centralise their payroll functions for them to alleviate that pressure off the administrators of the school. Now, when one of those guys has a failure, like
PC failure yesterday, literally, as I'm sitting in his office.
Yeah. Thanks, mate. For when their hard drive and their laptop died, right? And I'll give you the time frame. It was about 2 or 3 hours by the time they were back up and going the way that they wanted it. Their desktop there, their icons just so, the email set, all that stuff. Now, we're talking about servers and business continuity there. Wouldn't it be great to be able to understand that those critical people that exist in your business have a measure or a way to be able to get back on working faster? And just in that process alone, it's beginning to pay for itself, because when payroll comes around, when contracts are due, when the real business begins and there is a IT failure, which there will be because lightning strikes wherever the hell it wants to, having that ability to be able to go, it's okay, let's just spin it straight back up, get the plumbing sorted and get them back working. Then when the day's done, we've got the ability to step back to it. That is business continuity.
Very good, Jason.
I might just do a bit of a plug here. We are doing cloud continuity for PCs soon.
Mate, you're not there yet.
No, damn it.
I've got a roaming mic. Any questions in the crowd? Roaming mic.
About anything, by the way.
Good. No, you can't do that yet. It's being recorded, so we need this.
Hello, Al Guy here.
Yeah.
How small a business can we drive down to?
We can drive from like a one-person business to your 3,000 seat. We can look after literally any business. We have pretty much any solution under the sun to look after you guys, whether it's, you know, a 3-person business to a 100 seat. Case in point, 55 schools that we're now centralising. We're about to roll out to another 11 by the end of the year. We can literally do anything, and it's that easy.
And on that, so we're speaking about a lot of on-prem.
Yeah, we have. Yeah.
Right, a lot of on-prem servers, on-prem solutions. But what about Office 365, G Suite? Can you back that stuff?
That's actually one of my favourites as well. So we can, yeah, and it's really simple.
But why would you want to?
Because
don't they back themselves up?
It's a cloud. Don't you start me, Shaun. Now we're starting to get angry. The cloud is the same. It's a computer somewhere else. Your 365 can get hacked. It can get ransomware. It can have anything. If you go and Google Kevin Mitnick, he can actually ransomware a whole complete 365 tenancy within 30 seconds. Like, it's how much. And he might work for the FBI, so he might have a few tools to be able to use it. But point being is that if you can't get to that data, where else is it? Microsoft claim to have it backed up, but they don't. Let's be honest.
So they openly say they've got 30 days backup of your
And
infrastructure.
that's it. I can quantifiably, 100%, hand on heart say I will keep all that data for as long as you're a customer of mine, unless you ask me to offboard it. We had a customer come to us, I think it was 3 weeks ago now. They had a customer that employee that offboarded and decided to get trashy with their mailbox and delete everything and do all that kind of fun stuff, as they do when they're angry. We recovered that mailbox within 10 minutes. And that was literally 7 years worth of email just reappeared, so they could go through the trails and do whatever they had to do with that employee's data. But it's that easy, and you need to think about it, because if you have that happen to you guys, what happens to your business, you know?
I've got one more because time's running out. So cyber security insurance.
Here we go.
Very hard to get, very expensive. What do you do currently that can assist these guys with cyber security insurance from a BCDR point of view?
Everything. I think I helped an insurance broker in this room actually just last week, and we talked about it. The reason why you need BCDR for an insurance point of view is that a lot of people aren't actually allowed to be insured anymore unless they can bring their business operations back up in a certain period of time. And it's like, I don't understand insurance companies, full stop. I hate it. I don't want anything to do with it. But having said that, no, like as in, the insurers, not the brokers that are, they're doing their job. But the complexity around what we're providing, what the insurers are trying to insure against, we need to protect you. The realistic thing is that, we tick one wrong box on your insurance and your premium goes up thousands a year. And we've got to be there to help you guys out. Pretty simple. So,
last questions, any in the crowd? Oh, yes. Here we go.
Roving mic.
As an existing customer of yours,
yes.
I just trust you. I don't know, and sorry, Ray, I don't know what I'm paying for.
Mm-hmm.
So how do I know if I'm covered, what I'm covered for, what I need to do next? Is there a reporting thing or,
Yeah, it's a really good question, Belinda. Long story short is, yes, we have all of that in the back end that protect your systems. We can produce reports that say your machine's doing X, Y, Z. We've got all of the logs to say, your machines have done this, your backups are successful all the time, all that kind of thing. Our guys get reports pretty much daily, and Shane hates it, but we literally sift through logs of a morning to make sure that your stuff's backed up. In terms of trusting us, well, that's sensational, thank you. But don't be afraid to ask the question either of what you're getting out of your current service provider, whether it's us or not. Realistically, we're here to help you guys. And if you don't understand it, then we need to do a better job to actually sit there and assist you to learn what you need to understand from us. It's all well and good to say, hey, now it's, Lateral PLAINS' problem or, your IT service provider's problem. But at the end of the day, you need to have a basic understanding of what's going on in your systems so that way you can question it. And it's not necessarily that you're trying to question the integrity of what we're doing or anything like that. We would prefer you ask those questions because when it comes to, cyber insurance time or anything like that, we can then say, hey, this is what's going on. And I won't mention the fast track program yet.
Not yet.
Not yet.
Jay's got a point.
I was just also going to comment to add a bit more value to that too. If you guys are all curious to know, what level of secure your business is at, go online and Google for something called the Essential 8. So the Australian government mandates this now across businesses. Now, I can guarantee you here that if you're curious to know what level of the Essential 8 your business complies to, because there's maturity levels to it, there's things like application compliance. Is your applications up to date? Are your operating systems up to date? Who can access your systems through the firewalls, right? What kind of ports are open? Lateral PLAINS will have tools that will cover all levels of the Essential 8. So if you're curious to know what level do we sit on that, because now with cybercrime, when it was new sort of 5, 8, 10 years ago, under a certain amount of ransom, you didn't have to report it back to the Australian government. Now you have to, and if you don't, you actually get penalised on it. They send you a huge fine, tens of thousands of dollars. Why didn't you tell us that your critical data is now on the dark web, that all of your email addresses are appearing on the dark web and they're being sold to criminals in enemy states? So you've got to report all this to the Australian government now, whether it's they wanted $1 from you or 10 bitcoins, right? And bitcoins fluctuate all the time.
Well,
but
they're not worth anything anymore, Joe. It's fine.
But look up the Essential 8, and it's a good framework to overlay on your business. We've got firewalls, we've got security, antivirus, we've got Datto BCDR. And if you want to know, well, Luke, what level of the Essential 8 are we matured to? They can overlay a framework on your business and say, well, these are the tools that we've got here. You're missing these two. Would you like to talk about them? And this is what it's going to cost to become compliant level 3 or 4, right? So Google Essential 8, just the number 8 on the end, and have a read about it. There's a nice sort of simple, plain text in a non-technical way on their website. It's a good place to start, absolutely. And then
and the Australian government actually made it really easy because I could understand it. So,
but the Essential 8, I would highly recommend everyone have a read over it.
Absolutely.
All right, gents. Well, thank you very much, Damo. Thank you very much for your time on this panel.
Thank
So,
you.
round of applause.
I think it's that time of the night that we give some stuff away. Sean?
Now is the good fun time.
Here's the fun time. Right,
We got prizes, and there's a lot down there, Luke.
There's not as much as you think, mate.
Right, we've got a laptop to give away.
Yes.
A real one,
Yes.
not smashed. Not one with a fake inside. So we'll get that one out. We do have a spinny wheel, and I'm looking for Louise. Oh, do we have it? No? Does anyone have it? No. Oh, it's in here. Oh,
Spinny will do.
tell me to get out of the way.
Well, while the guys get that organised, that story that Shaun told where we lit the smoke alarms in the Hilton, Shaun's boss was down at the time that we actually lit the smoke alarms, and we had to evacuate the entire hotel. Now, our CEO at the time
Where's he from?
is from Canada.
From all the way
He's come all the way from Canada, Shaun's boss. Now, we're outside, the fire trucks have rocked up and they're riding up the bill and they're quite annoyed with us because it was a demonstration. Shaun's boss had to call his boss, our CEO at the time. Our CEO's 24 at that time. Like, uber nerd, but really cool guy. So Shaun's boss calls him and says, look, we've kind of evacuated our hotel. We've got a bill for $17,000 because we called like 7 fire trucks down. It was the Hilton on the Gold Coast. What do I do with the bill? And our 24-year-old CEO at the time goes, Rob, was it cool? And he goes, bloody oath it was. He goes, expense it. Done. And he laughed about it. That's what a 24-year-old CEO would do for a $17,000 fine at the time.
Yep. Yeah. Now that 24-year-old is actually running robots. You know those robots that smash other robots?
Yeah. He sold the business.
He sold Datto to go do that.
Yeah, and he's got a warehouse now, just builds robots all day, and he's a billionaire, and it just sits in his little lab for like 15 hours a day. It's kind of like my dream, but I didn't exactly start Datto, did I? So.
All right, so I've got this. That's enough, Jack. Come on.
Then you stole the laptop. That's all right, we can come and see us afterwards. It's fine. Everything's fine.
So we do have a laptop, I promise you. It's not encrypted. It's not. No,
Are you sure? Are you sure?
So we're going to go first prize spinner.
Yeah, no, all of them spinner.
But they're all, and the first prize is what comes up, or do they get to pick? You're the boss.
Ooh.
So we've got a Datto drone. A Datto drone.
Datto drone.
Yeah.
Datto whiskey
Cool.
kit.
Now this one here.
This one's special.
This is our Datto whiskey. So a bit of a team building day back in the day. We got to do a lot of this stuff. So we said, let's make a nice U-Butte whiskey. So we put a few things in there, and the person I used to work with, she said, can we just put some flowers in it? Let's make it nice. So now it's got some flowers in it as well. Some oak and flowers. And a drone and a laptop.
So a Lenovo business laptop, our normal one that we sell to all our customers. So yeah. So yeah, I reckon 3, 2, 1.
3, 2, 1?
Yeah, I reckon.
So the third prize is which one? We should have worked this out, mate.
This one.
All right, so we're spinning up for the. Are we spinning up for the whiskey?
Yeah, spin up for the whiskey.
We're off for the whiskey. Here we go. So you can't see up there, so I'll let it know. What's that sound? All right, here we go. Prue, no. Trish, no. David.
David Gillett, get the whiskey. Come and get it, David. Come on.
Tell him he's here. He is.
Well done, DJ.
If I had known there was whiskey and drones in the Datto display cupboard, I would have gotten a copy of the key.
Yeah.
Lou, can I get access to that cupboard, please?
We hide a lot of the stuff at Datto because these guys sort of try and steal stuff all the time.
You don't want them to see their mates in Sydney too. It's worse.
Okay. So remove that one, Dave. You can't get it again, mate. All right, we're off. So this is for the Datto drone. Look out.
Hey, Sammy.
Sam Pollock.
Hey.
Yes.
Here she is.
Are these current partners, Luke? Current partners? Current partners?
No, not yet. No, not yet. Soon enough.
Hey! Well done, Sammy married.
Yeah.
I've got some sayings for that. But
Yeah, no,
all right,
not yet.
Move that. Here we go. We're off. Last one, first prize. Laptop. Oh,
Meredith Johnson. Come get the laptop. Hey.
Apple fan. All right. Before we do close up and have a few more drinks, I'd just like to thank Luke and Lateral PLAINS for having us here. We do a lot of these events, right? We fly around the country a lot, Jay, myself and Lou, and we have a great time doing it. But to have something this big and this many people in the room just shows how much of a pull you have in Ballarat. So well done, mate, and thank you very much, guys, for having me.
Thank you very much.
All right, so I think we're going to move, or we're staying here, or you go. You do.
I'll go up there.
Hang on.
Again.
I'll pull it down for you.
Thanks.
It's like digging in.
Yeah, digging in, of course. So this wraps up pretty much everything tonight. So I just wanted to say a quick thank you to everyone. It's been an awesome experience. I'll shoot you guys all a post-event feedback form as Sean loves with his KPIs that I need to find out what's going on in the room. Make sure you got your tag on you. We're going to move out to the deck, have a few drinks, hang out, have a chat to us, see what's going on in the world. And thank you all for joining us. It's been an awesome night. Appreciate it.